Yeah.
I love my HBCU. And boy, I love it, love it. I love it, love it. I love my HBCU. And man, I hope my team they won. Yeah. I hope my team they won. Yeah. Man, I hope my team they won. I hope my team they won. Yeah. I tune into the HBCU Sports Lab to see if my team won or lost. If they lost, I'm quiet as a mouse. But if they won, keep tab. I'ma do the dab, yeah. Dr. Cavil, he know what he be talking about. Mike and Charles, they know what they be talking about. They compress the analytic data with the hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they won or lost, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavil with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Mike Washington claims he's still on assignment. I wonder if he ducked off to Brazil somewhere, or is he actually taking care of some Christmas business, as you gentlemen see. I got the one with the football. We'll see if we can flip it up. But as we transition to basketball, maybe on Thursday, Tuesday next week, we'll put on the one with the basketball, if you would. But welcome to episode 760 of Inside the HBCU Sports Lab radio show and podcast, the show that's covering the sport of HBCU dash for all things HBCU sports. Institutions large and small, from the NEIA to the NCAA. We share insights and information on the HBCU sports culture, HBCU athletic aesthetics, to facilitate the story of HBCU athletic programs and the business of HBCU sports. In short, we just call it HBCU sports pedagogy. I'm your host, Dr. Kenyatta Cavil, along with my co-host, Mike Washington. I said is on assignment, but we have none other than Charles Bishop, as well as A.D. Drew. We're filming from our home studios and sending a signal live to KSWH 1230 AM studios with the Texas Radio Hall of Fame, multi-Hall of Famer that is, Ralph Cooper, in the beautiful home, Texas Southern University. With that, let's bring everybody on board as we get into it a little bit there. As we are bringing everybody in, let me say today's episode of Inside the HBCU Sports Lab is sponsored by THG Agency. THG Agency is a company that provides sporting, educational, consulting, and data analytics. Are we able to get anybody in? You back there working on it?
If I push the right button, Dr. Cavil.
That'll help you out. Well, as
you're
working on it, I'm going to talk about Charles and tell him congratulations. He defended his dissertation proposal, first 3 chapters, did a solid job there. But now the real work begins as you get the touch and feel that it's like really close, and then your committee folks kind of yank it away from you. I don't know what it's all about, but I'm just telling you, be surprised. But you did a dynamic job today, so I wanted to tell you congratulations and good work on taking that next step. You're that much closer to the final stage of being enrolled and joining the distinguished group of doctors. A.D. Drew, go ahead.
So when Charles does finally cross that journey, will it be Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Dr. Bishop and Mike Washington? Does Charles move in front, or is it Dr. Cavil's and Dr. Bishop's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab? I'm just curious. Have y'all even got that far yet?
That's a good question.
I got 2 minutes left.
I certainly will acknowledge it on the show. But we might have to charge him some fees to redesign the logo. But maybe it's that time where we start looking at redesigning the logo and see what that looks like out there. So I'm certainly up to it, but his pocket's a little bigger than mine, so I don't see he'll have a problem with that. Mike keeps sliding down the ladder anyway. We don't know if we're gonna slide it right off, according to John Grant and others. He showed up strong for a couple of weeks, and now we out of football season. He's like, I'm out. We got basketball, man. It's getting fun. We got the end of the year. We got Kwanzaa. What are you talking about? Kente cloths and all. Y'all notice that on the Santa hat there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, nice. I told you. And then we got the HBCU Classic. We'll say that for the last segment. as we get in a little bit and talk about Clark Atlanta that went 2-0 and Grambling.
We don't have to talk about them.
What is that? Don't hate. I know you're right. You'll get a chance to make your statement against them this year. I got to find a way to get down there for that. See if I can coax Charles to getting on
January 17th at their place, February 14th at our place.
Okay. We'll look at both of them and see which one may fit the schedule. Those both Saturdays?
Both of them are Saturdays, and I believe both of those are 3-day weekends, if I remember correct. I know the first one is King Weekend, and I believe the second one may be President's Day weekend.
Oh, yeah, that always a little bit. With that being said, Charles, how you doing today?
I'm exhausted. I can't lie. I'm mentally exhausted, but I'm here. I'm here and accounted for. So looking forward to some of the news that we got going on in HBCU sports. So I'm sure AD's smiling from ear to ear today. So it's been an interesting few days with regards to some coaching hires and things of that nature.
Yeah, coaching hires indeed. As I said, it's officially break now. I know you turned your grades in a couple of weeks ago. Graduation took place. You did your duties with the Cricket Celebration Bowl, also the Band of the Year, and that's the Red Lobster Band of the Year. Mm-hmm. You did your dissertation proposal, so now you can kind of take a step back. Enjoy your Christmas, Joe. Enjoy your Christmas. Yeah. I'll keep the punch back on you a little bit after the New Year. We'll make it 2026. But enjoy the rest of your year and don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it. Put the pen down. Don't read no books right now. Put it down.
It's funny, Dr. DeSean Dixon. He called right before we got on the show. He's like, hey, you can dust your golf clubs off now. I was like, yeah, for at least a couple weeks I can.
Oh, that's good. Shout out to Dr. Dixon. 80, Drew, what's on your mind? How you doing?
Man, this past Saturday and Sunday, I almost did not know what to do with myself, Dr. Cavil, because this was the first time since early, like July or something like that I did not have an athletic event of some kind going on.
Wow.
I did not have to get up and do the Sunday morning show with you Sunday morning and do the bride being out of town in Vegas. When he told me that, I'm like, bro, I'm just gonna take the day off. I'm not even supposed to try to find a co-host for the show. So no shows this weekend, no athletics, nothing. I do want to take a moment of special privilege though. My nephew plays football at Toledo, just finished his final football game. Unfortunately, they lost today. Number 8, Martez Pointer had 6 tackles, 2 tackles for loss on the day. So just wanted to shout him out, and hopefully we'll be seeing him on Sundays as he begins his training to see if he can make it on Sundays, since his Saturday career is now officially over.
Certainly. Wish him the best, and glad that he went out, making sure he contributed to the defensive efforts for his team, and wish him the best, certainly going forward. Well done. Certainly appropriate when you get a chance to shout out family right here. With that being done, I guess now you can go back, and you started to talk about it a little bit, but you can go ahead and give the update in terms of FAMU. As the board ratified what everybody seems to have known for
a second or two.
At least everybody thought for months.
Wait, it was the worst kept secret.
Down at Albany, it seemed like the worst kept secret, and now it's official.
Well, actually, can I back? Do you want me to go through all the HR news? Because there's 3 big ones out there. 2 of them have kind of slid under the radar with Quinn, or do you want me to save and let Charles get them? I can quickly hit on all 3 of them.
Let Charles have one.
I'll let you have one of them. I hit on the 2. I hit on the one at my conference, Savannah State, yesterday. Actually, named Thomas Howard as its head football coach. He is the 28th football coach for the Tigers. Howard arrives at the University by the Sea after serving as defensive coordinator at Fayetteville State, where he helped guide the Broncos to the 6-1 record in CIAA play this past year. His defense ranked among the nation's best, finishing top 15 rushing defense, top 5 in sacks, top 10 in tackles for a loss, while leading the CIAA in all 4 categories, including interceptions. So that's the one that kind of slid under the radar for everybody. And of course, the worst kept secret in HBCU football is it was officially ratified that Quinn Gray is now the newest head ball coach of the highest of 7 hills. Quinn Gray becomes the 20th head football coach of Florida A&M University. The vote took less than 10 minutes during an emergency meeting, signaling rare urgency and alignment at the highest levels of the university. That is saying a mouthful considering my alma mater and what we're talking about with my alma mater. And yes, I can say that. Some of y'all can't say that. Let's see. Gray says, I'm home after the vote. I am humbled and excited about the opportunity to lead this great program that it is known to be the standard in HBCU football. Gray comes from Albany State after a successful 3-year tenure there. He went 24-11 overall and a dominant 20-4 conference mark. His breakthrough season was this season when Albany State finished 12-2, went undefeated in conference play, won the SIAC title, and advanced to the NCAA Division II quarterfinals. So that's what we have right now.
Let's take this next break. Charles, we're going to call AD Drew the hot hand, the ball hog. When he get hot, he will not share the rock.
Yeah.
Vacuum.
Vacuum, yeah.
Ooh, black hole.
Exactly. It go to him. He not giving it back. We're going to take our first break, come back on the other side, and we will bring on a guest. Dr. Monique Carroll will be with us, Vice President and Director of Intercollegiate Athletics at Chicago State. They have some big news there. For those that may not realize, while Chicago State is not an HBCU, it is a Black serving institution. And Dr. Monique Carroll has a lot of ties for HBCUs, and we'll tie that in a little bit when we get back on the other side. This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavil of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
Looking for the ultimate cultural experience of 2026? The Zora Outdoor Festival of the Arts is where you need to be. From January 30th to February 1st, Eatonville, Florida will come alive with incredible live performances. Immerse yourself in interactive art. Shop from over 80 vendors. Take a journey through history with a new virtual tour app. And enjoy family-friendly STEM activities. Plus, don't miss the unforgettable R&B tribute to the legends. This is more than a festival. It's a celebration of Eatonville's rich cultural heritage. Visit zorafestival.org for tickets.
You're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics. There's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on the Black College Sports Network.
When it compress the analytic data with your hip-hop, if you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they want a law, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gonna teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Bill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Mike Washington is out on assignment. And Edwin, to answer your question, no, Mike Washington did not miss a session when I was going through my years to get into the fraternity. Just like that. But we have none other than our guest, Dr. Monique Carroll, Chicago State University Cougars there, Vice President and Director of Intercollegiate Athletics. How you doing, Doc?
I'm well. I'm in sunny Florida, doing well.
Oh, you skipped out of Chicago for a minute.
Just a little bit.
Person.
Must be nice. As you heard, or you may not, Charles is going through the gauntlet as he seeks to earn his doctorate. Did his dissertation defense today, and he is well for the wear, but he is moving along.
Congrats in advance. You
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I appreciate that. Well, for those that don't know, in terms of some background, I'll share this and then we'll get into some questions what everybody probably wants to know, which is the announcement that I appreciate getting the opportunity to share that before it was official, while it was official, those kind of things. You know how it goes. But Dr. Carroll is a native of New Boston. That is not Boston, Massachusetts, but New Boston, Texas. She received her Bachelor's of Science in Secondary Health and Physical Education from Arkansas Pine Bluff, UAPB, the Golden Lions, a Master's of Sports Science and Sport Management at the United States Sports Academy in Daphne, Alabama, and a Doctor of Education with the emphasis in Sport Management from North Central University. Welcome to the show again, Dr. Carroll.
Thanks for having me.
You know, you've had a lot of experience. We've had a chance to meet when you were at Prairie View. You did a lot of good work down there during your stint. Had a chance to interact as you were building and part of the team of Ashley for a while. Then you moved on from there. You had a chance to be the AD at Houston-Tillotson University, Rams over there. And then you got this opportunity at Chicago State. No basketball program at no football program at Houston-Tillotson. At the time you entered the chair at Chicago State, didn't have a football program, but you've experienced, obviously, your days in college at Pine Bluff and then your time at Prairie View and then some other stops there. I want to ignore all the great places that you built your resume. But for the sake of time, I guess I wanted to get off and ask you, what was the experience when you first had the understanding that Chicago State was looking into not bringing back football, but starting a football program from new?
Yes. So one of the things, and two stops I'll talk about that even allowed me to be here, Prairie View, which you mentioned, and in South Carolina State. So that Celebration Bowl, if I could have had a split jersey, I would have had a split jersey.
That's right.
Yeah.
Give South Carolina State some love. You see, I'm a little angry. I'm still a little mad.
I know I had to throw that in there. But no, when I got there, they were really open to exploring our sports portfolio and seeing, did we have the right sports? Did we not have the right sports? At the time, we weren't in a conference. So we were also looking at that. Some people wanted us to add football in order to get a membership into a conference. We were adamantly against that. We wanted to add football because it was right for us. And so that's why it took us 3 years of studying, consulting, feasibility, community, to even get to last week where the board approved us to add football as the 17th sport.
How has your experience in the past put you in a position to really be strong in going through that process, particularly bringing in consultants to look at that? And the second part of that is, what did you look at, or what did you ask the consultants to bring to you all so you could share with your president and then your board in terms of what would make the decision right to bring football to Chicago State, the only Division I football program in the city of Chicago?
All right. So when we first started, we were just looking at what sports in general. And so football came up, some women's sports came up. And so, when you do that initial feasibility, it's just saying, hey, is it feasible? You could do it, you could not do it. But the study was 186 pages of this is what could happen if you do it. And so what we really spent a lot of time in is getting some community members on board, and we formed our own internal committee to say, is it right for CSU right now? And that was a consistent thing through even federal leadership. Is this still the right time? With different university things happening, was it still the right time? And so I think those the people that served on that and the consultants were invaluable to help us make that decision. But I think what was important to me, I had seen winning football, and so some things when you know. I don't expect Chicago to be Texas in the landscape, but when you say football, everybody jumps. But we gonna make them do a little dance. They may not jump all the way, but we're gonna have them get excited when they hear about football in the city now.
Good stuff. Charles, go ahead. Jump in.
Well, yeah, and I do kind of want to follow up on what Dr. DeVille was sort of laid the framework out because I was curious about sort of the I guess the feasibility study in terms of looking at the infrastructure of having Division I college football within the city, and what does that mean for Chicago at large, because it is a tremendous sports town.
Mhm. Yes, Chicago has every sport you could imagine, from rugby all the way, of course, to the Bears. No shortage on the male and female side, and so that was one thing we looked at. Did it help us meet our enrollment goals? Some of it was strategic on that front. We are 78% Black and about 70% female. And so trying to look at giving young males an opportunity to go to college through sport. In the state of Illinois, Black male college enrollment is down 37%. So nationwide is 17, and we're leading one of the leading states in that. So that had a lot to do, when you talk about mission-driven work, that had a lot to do with it. Really teasing it out to say, is it a reason why other schools have not added football? And this was something that had been talked about at the university, through faculty members in the past. I got emails when we started the process, and they say, hey, I was there, a decade, 2 decades ago, and we thought about it. And I said, hey, send me all the paperwork of what you did so we can look at it now. But I think it was just a unique opportunity with us being on the South Side, everything that we're trying to do from an economic development standpoint, about to be at 500 plus new beds on campus, retail.
Wow.
We were setting the stage, these past 3 years to be able to attract build a football program.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That's being from Mississippi, and from a lot of people are
A lot of
migrating up to
connections.
Chicago. I just too much family up there. I can't wait to get up there.
Nice. August 29th. I'll save you a seat.
There it is.
I like it. AD Drew.
How you doing there, Doc?
I'm well.
All right. I've been to Chicago for a couple of HBCU classics. So, given the framework, and those classics have been, well, I've been from one extreme to the other. I've been from some well-attended HBCU classics, and I've been from some that were like, okay, we came all the way up here for this to play in front of our mamas and our significant others. So, given that framework and given the success that a lot of the HBCUs that have played in Chicago have had, when you get outside of your Northeast 10 schedule, are you looking to bring more HBCUs in to fill up that schedule there that you're going to have non-conference?
Yeah, absolutely. So this first year, we're going to play an independent schedule. But as we go forward to 2027 and beyond, when we do join the Northeast Conference, we want to remind people that we're Black college football. As you all stated earlier, we are not a HBCU. We don't, pretend to be one, but we are a predominantly Black institution. And so with that said, we fit the bill for Black college football. And we do, I've talked to a couple ADs, of course, through the connections through the years about, getting future games on the schedule. And even Chicago Football Classic for a future year, playing in that game ourselves. So definitely that's a focus in our scheduling for myself and the head coach.
Can I ask one follow up on that quickly?
Yes.
Facility, will you be playing on campus or off campus?
Off campus. So while we do have 161 acres, we have not developed a football stadium yet. Hoping to bring my experience to that in the coming years. But right now we're negotiating with SeatGeek Stadium, which seats about 20,000 in the west side of the city, southwest side, important in Chicago. And so we're looking to play there. We think that'll be a really good experience for our fans.
Is that close to campus? How far is that from campus?
About 11 miles from campus.
All right.
Dr. Monique Carroll, if you don't mind, we're going to run a commercial. If you have a little more time, we'd like to get you in for another segment. Conversation is really.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, let's take this next break and we'll come back on the other side and ask a couple of more questions.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. Whether you're a student or a lifelong supporter, our gear lets you wear your HBCU story with confidence and style. Because when you wear HBCU Image, you're not just wearing clothes. You're wearing culture. You're wearing pride. You're wearing purpose. HBCU Image, a Kenny T's company.
From cancer care to accidental injuries to cardiac care, we all know that there are times that you can't control what happens in your life. But with Globe Life Family Heritage, you can be prepared to weather the storm when it comes. Call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com. With over 25 years of serving communities, Dr. Beverly Eagles Rogers is here to help you and your family through difficult times. Dr. Beverly takes pride in Globe Life being one of the few companies that returns 100% of premiums to clients that stay healthy. So for more information, call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavil with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. We're here with Dr. Monique Carroll. She is the Vice President and Director of Intercollegiate Athletics at Chicago State, talking about the recent announcement that they will start football officially this fall in 2026. As you heard, start with the independent schedule, and then they join the NEC for a full schedule in 2027. I wanted to go backwards a little bit before we go back forwards in terms of what that looks like. You know, Chicago State got the announcement that they'd be leaving the WAC. I think that was 2021. So that might have been shortly before you got there. And then, so you were operating as an independent, if you would. And obviously, we use independent in HBCU football for those programs that are not in HBCU. But traditionally, when you hear independent in the NCAA, that means there's no conference affiliation at all. And then you heard the buzz in terms of y'all were looking for conferences, that there was a chance that you might join the MEAC. MEAC was going through their expansion process as also teams leaving and contraction throughout that period. You got a positive vote, a framework from the ADs, and as you alluded to, the presidents and chancellors really were intrigued about football, but you were just going through your study. Then later, as the process would have it, a couple of years ago, you get the announcement that you will get the official invite from NEC, the Northeast Concert. Talk about a little bit of the ups and downs in the background about going through this process. And a lot of folks, as fans, as you know, you hear all the chatter, are extremely excited. It doesn't matter what level of FBS. A couple of years ago, when you first heard about Texas, Oklahoma going to SEC, how it started the churning. We've seen it obviously with FAMU, but then Cookman going to the SWAC. Everybody's intrigued about conference expansion. Can you talk from your perspective as an AD What does that really look like? How do we get a grip? What do you have to present conferences and saying, hey, we're a good viable candidate? Because everybody got their rules. They want to play commissioner, AD, president, chancellor, talk about this is a good fit. This is a good fit. Let it inside the circle.
Oh, definitely. I do not wish being an independent and looking for a home on anybody. It was 2 years that we were in that search. As you alluded to, when I walked in, there were some proposals that had been given to the MEAC. Got a chance to see those and converse with that staff there. I think at the core of it, it is just putting on our best show. Winning helps, which that was something Chicago State historically hadn't been able to put a lot together. We changing that trajectory now. So I think people look at that. You don't want to add a team to the bottom of your conference, as you alluded to with some of the, SEC schools. They were, top of the pack in their previous conference. So it was a lot of presentations. It was a lot of getting the president, who was at that time probably in her 4th year. Really getting her acclimated to what it took to be a president on those councils. So, excuse me.
No problem.
But yeah. So I think it was
Take your time.
Take your time. Yeah. We caught you in the middle of the cough there. As
you did.
Getting you peppermint. It is Christmas season.
Absolutely.
Give you a chance to get back in there.
Yeah. All right.
You were saying, though, that you were transitioning, getting your president involved. I think that's an important footnote that you talk a little bit about. How much are the presidents and chancellors involved? And if you would, is that also the case for the board as you continue your thoughts there?
At Chicago State, our board is a little less involved than what you see. They really are the oversight. They're operating at a high level. They're not in the day-to-day. So it did have to go to the board for approval, but it wasn't it wasn't a board chair wasn't sitting in meetings with the conferences or any of those things. It was really on the president. And so she goes to some meetings with other HBCU presidents, and, I'm giving her a list of, hey, these are the presidents you need to talk to. If we want to get in this conference or if we want to entertain this. And she was, all for it. She understood what we were trying to do. And so she hit the ground running. We were hosting people on campus. So, Horizon League, Ohio Valley, MEAC, reached out to the SWAC. What I was telling everybody, the best thing for us is we're in the Midwest, but that's also the worst thing if we're in the middle of everything. And so, looking at what that would do to the conference travel, looking at what it would do for our travel. So we were in a unique position because coming from the WAC, we were used to that travel. So to be in a conference where we had to travel wouldn't have necessarily been a burden on us. But we didn't want to make it a burden on our colleagues in a new conference. And so for some, that was a deal breaker. They were like, hey, we see what y'all are trying to do, but, either we're not expanding right now or Chicago's just, not a good fit. And so I think what it came down to was alignment. Kind of like if you look at the transfer portal with players, the big dogs eat first and it trickles down, until it gets to FCS. And the same thing with conference alignment. People were leaving FCS, it left holes. 2 schools end up leaving the Northeast Conference, and I get a call from the commissioner, and then a couple weeks later we were able to make it happen.
Yeah, I got to meet, and thank you for the introduction, your president Scott. And that was during the Black Student Athlete Summit. That was really amazing, and I can tell, as you alluded to, that she's doing some great work there. Would you want to take a quick break and come back on the other side and finish this up, or do you want to allow Charles to get back in here with some questions and AD?
If we can take a break.
Yeah, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back on the other side and finish up this interview. We'll be right back.
This is Ryan Fulford, AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Lab. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Lab, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
From cancer care to accidental injuries to cardiac care, we all know that there are times that you can't control what happens in your life. But with Globe Life Family Heritage, you can be prepared to weather the storm when it comes. Call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com. With over 25 years of serving communities, Dr. Beverly Eagles Rogers is here to help you and your family through difficult times. Dr. Beverly takes pride in Globe Life being one of the few companies that returns 100% of premiums to clients that stay healthy. So for more information, call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com.
To these colleges, and we have to fund our kids in these colleges, and we have to make sure our kids have seats in these colleges.
Now, what about HBCUs? You mentioned
absolutely. You got to fund them all, and you got to make sure they're properly funded. You know, the real reason why I went after Comcast and Charter, it didn't have anything to do with my cable networks. It didn't. What happened was a gentleman wanted to do the Black College Sports Network in partnership with the HBCUs. And Comcast did not accept it. And that would have made a lot of money for these black colleges.
Absolutely.
And it would have educated the Black College Sports Network. This is what he wanted to do. That would have educated a lot of black kids. And when they didn't do that, that's when I came off the bench and said, okay, I'm going to light you up like a Christmas tree. Okay? That was the real reason why I got into it, was when I saw what happened with the Black College Sports Network, which I don't own. I just knew.
Why didn't you buy it?
I just knew. I just knew that these black.
I like that talk.
All right. I knew that these black colleges were going to benefit, and these black kids were going to get the education that they deserved and not have to pay.
There's a shot. To right. It could be. Right field. Grand slam. What a shot. That's how you get hot, young fella.
Thank you guys for what you do for HBCU athletics. This is a fantastic avenue for all of us. This is our ESPN, so we love what you guys do, all you guys at BCSN. We really appreciate what it is that you guys do for us.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gonna teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Bill inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Welcome back, Dr. Monique Carroll, Vice President and Director of Intercollegiate Athletics at Chicago State. You know, I know you shared that you were both at South Carolina State and Prairie A&M University, and you was watching the Cricket Celebration Bowl when you were trying to be in the middle. We understood where you were interested. You don't have to tell nobody, you know, especially all that stuff with the MEAC and SWAC. And you slid that in there pretty nicely. There was a quiet, soft conversation maybe with the SWAC there. I like the way you did that. Truly a professional. With that being said, let me let AD Drew come back in there and ask a follow-up question in Charles.
All right, Dr. Carroll, obviously, I believe it's been a little bit over a year, maybe, when you hired Coach Bobby Rome as your first football coach, coming then from Florida Memorial. So with you already having your coach established and everything, what has it been like this year in transition and waiting to make sure that you're going to actually field a football team? Because the worst thing that could have happened was the board say, no, let's kick the can down the road another year or something along those lines, or even worse, say nothing at all. But what has this year been like, and what have you guys been doing to prepare to actually field a brand new football team?
Yeah, And that you hit the nail on the head. That would have been the absolute worst. And when you're in this business, you have to be ready for it. But I'm definitely glad we didn't come close to it being like that. So what it's been like. So from the time in December 23, when we got the approval from the board to fundraise, one thing was really important to the leadership was we do pride ourselves on being an affordable institution. Taking in people, giving them opportunities. We did not want to tax the students. I've seen that model. It worked well at Prairie View, when the students were proactive in doing that to upgrade their own experience. But one of our tasks was 100% fundraising. And so for the startup cost, which was the hard part, because we all know if you take football separately than every other sport, it's a revenue generator. So I didn't have to sell it from that aspect, just had to sell it initially. And so it looked like a lot of fundraising meetings, me, president, coach, our deputy AD for external. I mean, we beat the city down and we were able to make it happen. One of the things for coach, even just hiring him that was important, was he had built programs before. So he had been at VUL when they, had as much success as you can have at a school, that's investing in those level of resources. Florida Memorial, what he was able to do there. I learned through the process. He was built a program in Russia. He was he was the ambassador for American football in Far East Russia. Wow. And so this was something he had done, and that was super important to me because we wanted to make sure whoever we selected didn't think they were just going to come in and coach. It was going to be, roll up your sleeves. And we really building an infrastructure and building a culture. So what we've done, identifying spaces on campus. The good part, at one time, Chicago State had about 8,000 students. And so once again, space, buildings, things we could flip and make something else, that wasn't an issue. And so identifying all the things, we're in the middle of getting our practice field on campus ready for both soccer and football. And so just all of those things that you can do before you get the full, approval. Now, I told people here, I don't know if they understood the reference as much as, maybe people down south. I felt like we were at the rodeo and we were just waiting to get out the cave. We were doing everything we could, but we couldn't just take off until the board approved it. But it was a lot of fundraising, a lot of friend raising, community awareness. What is this going to mean for the community? What is this going to mean for the current students? They wanted to know. And everybody, sometimes I saw people in the city and they were like, oh, y'all got football. And I'm like, not yet, but we can. And so it was a lot. It was 2 years of that. And so coach, he joined in April and he joined that team because people wanted to know who was behind the program, right? As I was having meetings, with people, they were like, okay, we like you, but we know you're not going to coach. So who are we really truly investing in? And who are we going to build with? And so, like I said, me, him, and the president, and the director of our foundation, all the people, we were tapping the pavement to make sure we got it right.
Charles, go ahead, please.
Well, and I guess trying to follow up on that. Obviously, there's an appetite for football, but just in terms of identifying that donor base, I was curious about the infrastructure in terms of what you guys went about the process of doing. Of galvanizing the Chicago State donor base to get in behind the football program. And then I wanted to ask the fan question in terms of are HBCUs contacting you to get on that schedule?
So they are, as I alluded to earlier, I'm contacting them and some of them are contacting me. They think they want to see us for homecoming, but we won't be entertaining that in year one for sure. But hey, just being real.
I like it.
Won't play in October.
Hey, but what we the question you asked was about what we did within the city, and how did we galvanize the donor base. It was going, Chicago State is traditionally known as a teacher's college. I saw somebody put, on a comment. If you are a teacher in Chicago, chances are, no matter ethnicity, you came through Chicago State to either get a bachelor's or a master's. So we kind of knew who our alumni were. within that, and in the business community, the Black business community in Chicago, the Southside business community in Chicago, the city of Chicago, the sports commission, several different players were excited about what we were doing. And so they tapped into their resources to make sure we got to last week.
Interesting.
Final question I have here is to talk about I know the announcement with football, but there was also an announcement with other sports. Can you talk about where you're going with your other sports? And then in closing, as you answer that, if there's anything that you want to put out there that we didn't ask you, please go ahead and do that now, particularly talking about those alumni and the boosters, as well as the city in terms of support you have.
Yeah. So the one thing I would say, as far as we were talking about the alumni, and the sports that we had, and so here from alumni, everybody had a long list of sports. Should we bring back baseball? And I personally, I love baseball. I'm a White Sox fan. But we really looked at the entire gamut: male sports, female sports, and we added women's triathlon. And so we felt strongly. So we have a natatorium on campus that's undergoing, I think we probably up to about $11 to $12 million renovation. And so we felt like we had the facilities already existing to do women's triathlon. We got a grant, and we all know grants help fast track the program. So we added women's triathlon in fall of 24. We're looking at women's swimming, women's flag, just keeping a pulse on what are the emerging sports that students that we want to attract to Chicago State are playing, that they're playing in high school, but they don't have a pipeline to go to college. And so, we'll continue to look at those. This is the last sport we'll add. I think maybe 18 or 19 may be our sweet spot, but we'll do that strategically and when the time makes sense. And then as far as just, closing out, as I mentioned earlier, we are Black college football. I think everybody can figure out a couple reasons to come to Chicago. And so we're going to try to provide them through some of these matchups, that we're going to schedule in some of the future years. And we just want people to, continue to let that ring out loud, that Chicago State is here, football is here, and we're Black college football.
I love the tagline. It's a perfect marketing one in terms of tying in the symmetry, if you would, in terms of HBCUs and being a Black serving institution or a large portion of your population. We are Black college football. I like that. Appreciate your time, Dr. Monique Carroll, and sharing information about this unique experience. I think your ties with HBCUs and your experience uniquely puts you in a position to be successful, but also allows our fans that have questions about expansion. You were very free with that information. I think we were able to educate our fan base. So we appreciate your time. Good luck moving forward, and we look forward to finding ways to, when you officially kick things off, finding a reason, as you said, to get Chicago, as well as when you have some of those institutions HBCU-wise on your schedule, we'll make sure that we continue to provide you the service that you deserve. So we want to thank you for your time. We'll be right back after this last break, and we'll turn on and talk a little bit about basketball. Can we get into some hardwood? Not to mention that the coach that they have now is a former coach of Long Point. Prairie View assistant coach won championship. Tell Coach Bussy we said hello. And don't forget us people down here in the South.
Will do.
We'll be right back after this break.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically Black colleges and universities legendary. Whether you're a student or a lifelong supporter, our gear lets you wear your HBCU story with confidence and style. Because when you wear HBCU Image, you're not just wearing clothes. You're wearing culture. You're wearing pride. You're wearing purpose. HBCU Image, a Kenny T's company.
Test the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gonna teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Bill with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington. He's out on assignment. We have Charles Bishop and AD Drew. Hope you enjoyed the conversation there to give you insight about contraction and expansion. What does it look like being an independent and how much challenge that can be and usually is. With that being said, let's get into some basketball. 2025 Chris Paul HBCU Classic. As you see, Drew has the shirt on. He was right there in Atlanta on the sideline doing a lot of work, so he got to see it. He kept us updated in terms of teams that did well. I know he doesn't want to give too much love, but, you know, that's what the show deserves. We're going to start
all the love to the night games.
We're going to start with Clark Atlanta, the day games in terms of what Clark Atlanta did and Chris Paul. Some exciting games. Obviously, they were getting it done. They went 2-0 in the Classic. They had a fantastic showing at the 2025 Toyota Chris Paul HBCU Classic, held at the Gateway Arena in Atlanta, Georgia. Those that made it to the SWAC basketball tournament are familiar with the Gateway Classic as it returns this year. So for Jackson State and Grambling, it was an opportunity to kind of get some early feetwear in what that looks like there. But you brought in these matchups that feature the SIAC against the CIAA. And Clark Atlanta has been at the top of the conference with Morehouse and a couple of other teams over there, obviously, in terms of getting it down with Miles College, what they've done over late. But they were able to get things going Thursday and Friday. They defeated those teams out there. The Panthers secured a 74-66 victory as they went on and got some things done in that with Jalen Scheider emerges as the standout player of the game, getting it done, and then they turn around with a huge overtime win of Fayetteville State in those matchups. But if you would, I'm going to start with you, Drew. What were your thoughts in terms of what Clark Atlanta was able to get done representing the SIAC where your bread is buttered over specifically the CIAA?
Well, first of all, and I hate to say this, but thank you, Clark Atlanta, for helping us get the split against the CIAA. As Morehouse lost not one but both of their games in overtime there in Atlanta. So also to me, watching all 4 games that were played there on each day, I thought the better basketball, competitive wise, was played during the day games featuring the Division II teams.
Yeah, you get overtime games, no doubt.
Versus the the Clark Atlanta's first game was a 1-possession game also.
Right.
Let's keep that in mind. So I just thought overall the better games were the day games versus the night games, although there was some exciting action at night. But no, this Clark Atlanta team is going to be a force to reckon with in the SIAC. Right now, being honest, they are probably the favorites to win the East. Although it's probably still going to come down to Clark Atlanta and Morehouse for the number 1 seed coming out of the East. And if you talk about making a trip, Dr. Cavil,
yep.
Another game in the SIAC that you want to attend, fans, you want to see you want to see Miles and Tuskegee play. They probably have 2 of the top dominant big men in this conference. So that's another one you want to put on your
that was fun. Yeah.
on your radar, watching those 2 teams play, because we've played both of them, and I will tell you, 2 of the best big men in this conference are on those 2 teams. There's one more that we'll see coming out of Christmas, and I'll tell you whether he's one top 3. But Clark Atlanta, very good inside presence. When Clark Atlanta gets their guard play intact, they still have some question marks with that guard rotation. If they get that figured out, Coach Alfred Jordan over there is going to have a very, very, very team that's going to be very tough to beat.
Yeah, you talk about those matchups. Great breakdown in terms of what you have going on in SIAC. You have Miles Tuskegee sitting at 6-1 apiece in conference play. Miles is 8-1 overall, and Tuskegee at 7-3. But as you talk about the East, You have Clark Atlanta sitting at 4-2, right there with Albany State 4-2, respectively. They're 7-3 and 4-5 overall. But you have Savannah State right there in the weed, along with Morehouse being 5-3 and 4-3. So that East just seems like last year it's going to be incredible. We had that classic game between Clark Atlanta and Morehouse last year. It looks like they both will be in the hunt. So a basketball season at SIAC should be fascinating and interesting. Talking about the CIAA side, you talked about how close those games are. What were your indication of what to expect in the CIAA? Do you think it'll be just as formal as it tends to be, particularly on the men's side, Drew?
Well, the Lincoln team was a team that was better than I expected coming in. You know, Fayetteville always is going to have some decent teams, but you know, obviously the power in the CIAA usually lies in the two Virginia teams, along with Winston-Salem. Those are usually the teams that you start there and then you fan out to everybody else. But I'm definitely interested in seeing the CIAA, and were it not for the SIAC tournament kind of going on simultaneously with the CIAA, you know, I might sneak up there for a day or two of the CIAA. You know, I'm honestly looking at it, seeing if the schedule works out where I can get up there and get a day or two of action in that CIAA.
Well, before we go to Grambling, which I think in terms of the show they showed, high flying around the rims, let me give you an update in terms of what that looks like for the CIAA. On the men's side, you have, as you said, Virginia Union. Those Virginia schools, they continue to get it done, sitting at 11-1. They are just 2-0 in terms of the conference play at this point. And everybody else is really separated. Even Lincoln, PA, as you talked about, came in and ended up winning the last two. They sit at 5-7, 2-0. So those games they're able to get down there were big for them. On the southern side, you have Claflin that sits at 6-6 overall, but they're 3-0 in terms of conference play. Shaw is 9-2 overall, but they're just 1-2 in terms of what they did in the conference play. So I did want to show a little bit of love there. As we got Charles back, let's get into the major division side of things, particularly what Grambling was able to do. New coach at the helm. Coach comes over from FAMU. Looks like some good basketball, but there's a young man over there that I think captured everybody's eye. They got, whether they were there in person, I'm sure they really felt it. But even on the TV, you were like, who is this kid? I had to call Rick. He's a Chicago guy, Rick Johnson, frat brother of ours down there that went to school with me at Prairie View. And he keeps me all updated Chicago. And, you know, Chicago believes they're a basketball city in so many different ways, even though now they have football FCS. I told him about him. He started breaking down where he's from and all this stuff. And so I learned so much in about a 10-minute conversation. I can't even get it out on the show or we extend this too much time. But big wins, particularly when you talk about over Norfolk State. The statement that you made over Norfolk State. Norfolk State is going to be good, great program. They played solid this year. But Grambling State made a big statement for the SWAC. You add on to this or what Alabama A&M did to Tennessee State earlier. Fascinating to kind of see with this. It looks like Jackson State may have slid a little bit, but it's something what happens when they get in conference play. And a little bit is about injury for Jackson State. So if they get healthy, they're going to be a problem too. But let me start with you, Drew, to continue your thoughts in terms of what you saw on the major division side, and then we'll let Charles jump in here and we'll close it out as we get into some basketball talk.
All you SWAC basketball fans, I said this in our group chat.
Yeah,
I've said this. Grambling is going to be a problem, y'all. I just want everybody to know Grambling is going to be a problem. Especially, I'm gonna give you two high flyers that they have there. Number 5, Jamil Lane, followed by number 15, Antonio Munoz.
Yeah.
And let me put it to you like this. At one point in time, I was doing one of the media timeouts. Grambling had 5 field goals, everybody. 3 of those 5 field goals were dunks. You know, they had like 5 dunks in the first half of one of those games. I thought I was watching Houston circa 1982, 1983 with Hakeem Olajuwon, Clyde Drexler, Larry Mishaw, and all those characters, man. I thought I was watching Five Slammer Jammer there for a while. And I'm supposed to pass the mic to you, Charles. But
no,
I went.
I'm not. I was gonna follow up right behind you.
I went to that night session. I was looking forward to the Norfolk and Jackson State game that was closing out the tournament on Friday night. I was more than pleased with the game that opened up the tournament featuring Grambling State and Norfolk. You know, that was just high flying entertainment all around. I did not expect Grambling to beat Norfolk the way that they beat Norfolk, especially a Robert Jones coach team. They took him to the woodshed there for a while. Grambling made a late run, but the game was never in question.
Well, I think, and I'm gonna follow up on what you were talking about. I mean, what does that say about Grambling, especially to knock off a team perennially in the upper echelon in the MEAC in Norfolk, and then to knock off Hampton as well? But Anthony Munoz, I mean, he jumps out. I mean, in a day and age where you see so many upperclassmen, if you will, guys transferring from place to place. This freshman, where did they find him from Chicago? I mean, every time I was flipping the channel, I was like, this dude is on the rim again. So, you know, to see a freshman come in and have that sort of impact, that speaks a lot about what they're doing over there at Grambling.
Yeah, I mean, it really does. So, you know what it says, Charles? FAMU, y'all effed up. Nothing wrong with, you know, I love Coach Ward being there, but if we didn't fumble the bag, this would be in Tallahassee right now, y'all. You know, Patrick Crary. I told y'all Patrick Crary was not going to be FAMU coach more than 1 year because of that unique contract squabble situation, and I was right. The bad thing was he landed back in the same conference, and I can't wait to Grambling and Fam play it. I'm sorry, Coach Ward. Patrick Crary gonna make that one personal.
That's a good one. And you talk about Grambling. This is the one that quietly snuck out to me. Grambling, while everybody was in the football, I caught this game. Grambling went up to Howard and beat Howard. Howard sits at 9-5 and has some very solid wins. So Grambling is 3-0 against HBCU Division I programs, and they are getting it done in terms of that. And Coach Creary knows and is excited about what happens. Obviously, he's from that DC area where he put in a lot of work, so that was an important matchup. But he talked about being 3-0 against the MEAC or previous MEAC teams because he lumped Hampton in it, which was funny to me in terms of what he was doing there. Then you get that Bethune-Cookman win over South Carolina State. So the SWAC is 3-2 on the men's side. I think they're 1-1 on the women's side in terms of what that looks like. Obviously, Howard is getting it done, and Howard had that matchup with FAMU. But it's going to be fascinating when you get in this mix. I told you about Alabama's victory. I saw that one in person over Tennessee State. This is the same Tennessee State had a win over UNLV. That Tennessee State is a pretty solid team. So I think we're up to some excitement on the basketball side. Women should be interesting, but we saw what Southern is doing on the women's side. So
don't forget Howard women.
And I was going to throw it back to what Howard was up 25 in the mid-major poll ranking for a period of time. And so they are finding ways to get it done. That's some interesting basketball. You should be able to get excited pretty quick when you start realizing some of the talent and the coaches that we have in the SWAC.
Coaches, yeah.
As well as the MEAC. I think it's caught up. We see that last year where they edged them out, but now you see coaching. And don't forget, you got Alabama State coming back. They've got some solid wins as well.
SWAC a basketball conference now, huh?
Yeah. Any final thoughts there, Drew?
I was gonna say, since we're talking about women's basketball, let's not forget about Winston-Salem State started off 10-1
Yeah.
in the
Good call. Great call.
1-0 in the CIAA. Winston-Salem State women's basketball is having a tremendous start to their season, and over in the SIAC, as I pull up the standings, you got Miles up there once again with a 9-2 start, followed by Edward Waters at 8-3. So if we're gonna give the women some love, let's give them all some love.
And one quick shout out to Langston. Looks like, they dipped a little bit and was quiet, and they still went deep into the playoffs and such thing, but they weren't necessarily national contention. Well, they're at 11-2 overall, 6-0 at home, and 6-1 in the conference play. So keep your eyes on those Langston Lions on the men's side. It looks like they are poised to make a run, and you always got to think about the HBCU AC conference as they get back into what that looks like basketball season. Charles, you get excited a little bit about some teams over there in the HBUAC as Russ as a connection there. We got to keep our eyes on there. And then Tougaloo always seems to have some good basketball. So
Coach Struthers, yeah.
See what that looks like as he's made some deep runs himself. So I'm fascinated to kind of see as we, get ginned up, close out this year. We'll have a show talking about some of the big events and your thoughts as we get into the new year. But just wanted to give people a little transition and get their juices going a little bit in terms of basketball. With that being said, let's close it out so we can get your time back for this evening. I am Dr. Kenyatta Cavil. Thank you for listening inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Make sure you share our podcast with your friends and colleagues. I am Dr. Kenyatta Cavil, the Dean of HBCU Sports, coming from inside the lab in the College of HBCU Sports with Mike Washington, Charles Bishop, and A.D. Drew. Again, thank you for listening to Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington, Charles Bishop every Tuesday and Thursday. Yes, Thursday is Christmas. We'll see what it looks like. If I get some gifts, we might have a show. If not, we might not have a show because I'll be pouting. But with that being said, I am the Santa Claus in terms of that. Mike Washington, Charles Bishop every Tuesday and Thursday at 6 o'clock. We look forward to Thursday if we have a show next week. If not, follow me, Dr. Kenyatta Cavil. That's DrKenyattacavil. There's Threads, Facebook, and Instagram. Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. One on Facebook, Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. If you would, on YouTube, dream big, continue to move forward. We will talk with you soon. Charles?
Of course.
AD?
Excuse me, lecture.
Dismiss. Give me my shirt, man. Why you give me my shirt, man? How you like my Chris Paul shirt?
My bad, man. My bad. I'll catch you next year.